for Dentside. I'm Charlie, and today we are in Herkimer, New York, on the way to Connecticut to go pick up our new frame for the short box F-150. We're going to meet a guy named Bobby, who was nice enough to go pick up the frame for me and store it at his place, and maybe pick up some extra parts from him too. Back on the 90. That's when you know you're into Dentside trucks. When you have multiple delivered at once. That is just cool. Here's my rig. Lots of work to do. And we got an extra C6 and 351 sitting in here for parts, which I don't know if we're going to really use them or not, but this U-Haul trailer, these guys are all over it. They love this thing. I think it's pretty cool. So we're going to work out payment and all that good stuff, and then pretty soon I'm going to go back to Buffalo. She's squatting a little bit. She got 250 springs on her, and she is definitely squatting, Tad. That's a cool sight. Frame, Dentside in the back, Dentside on the left, and the younger sister, the 08 in front. All right, crossing my fingers. I'll get back to you guys when we're on the highway. Well, we are on our way home, and I'll tell you right now, my truck does not like all of this weight on the back. It's an 08 F-150 with 140,000 miles on it, and she's struggling. We have a massive headwind, and we're about to go into lake effect snow. So this ought to be interesting. Kind of panicking right now. This is not good. Everything that could go wrong basically is starting to go wrong. I just hope the old girl makes it. Let me drive for about 5 hours and I'll be back. Well, we're about 50 miles outside of Binghamton. This is taking forever. I'm gonna probably be home around 11 p.m.-ish, maybe 12, midnight, with stops in between. It's starting to get dark. Clouds are getting thicker and darker. This truck is struggling. I'm doing 45, 50 up hills. Not fun. Check it out. Hills and valleys. Yeah, I don't know. I'm counting. I will be counting my lucky stars if this transmission makes it all the way. She's going good. Trailer's going good. So for right now, I'm going to do my best to relax. Literally having a panic attack every time we go up a big valley because this thing just bogs down. And I'm screaming $3,000 on the RPM gauge and I'm barely moving. This is going to be interesting. So far, so good. Talk to you soon. miles away from home, and it was a pretty ugly ride until I got onto this road. It was snow-covered hills and anti-lock brakes locking up on snowy intersections. Pretty scary, but we're almost there. I get home, I'm just gonna go in the house and pass out. I'm exhausted. It's about 2 days later. I wasn't feeling so great after that drive, so the next morning I returned the U-Haul trailer and unloaded most of my stuff. And we're about to go outside and find out what else I need to unload, and I'll show you what the frame looks like. It is covered in a little bit of snow because it's been snowing here pretty steady for the last few days. So let's go check it out. Well, first things first is I told myself not to forget that, and I forgot it. The seat is still back here. It's not in perfect shape, but the cover looks really nice, but it's got a big old rip in it. But that seat came with the frame. And I got my jack and stuff in there I need to unload. Oh no. That's the other thing I told myself not to forget. I got all my batteries and stuff in there for my DeWalt drill. Not good to leave that stuff out in the cold. I usually move all my batteries and all my good spray paint cans inside the house so they don't get ruined from the cold. Let's start this baby. Let it warm up a bit. Yeah, it's cold. It's cold out. All right, let's go check out this frame. So this is a 1979 Ford F-150 4x4 short box frame. I'm going to restore this the best I can. I did need the bumper brackets. I got those now. I needed the e-brake stuff. I didn't have that on my truck at all. Don't know how much of that I'm going to be able to use, but now I have it. I really didn't have a lot of time to dance around this thing and play games and check it out when it was loading time, because the guy I got it from, well, that started for me, Bobby, thank you, Bobby, he had a lot going on at the same time, so I just kind of loaded it up and went along my way. One thing I do need to pull off of this right away is this piece right here. It's been cut on the top here, but I have this piece, but the bottom of it was gone, and from here up it's perfectly fine. So I have to, if I have to weld it back together to make it work, I can do that. But this is coming off the firewall, and then I'm gonna replace that piece. This has got the dual springs on it, or dual shocks on it. I believe this is a weld-in kit. Yeah, it looks like it was welded on there. Don't know much about these. If you could, please, in the comments, let me know what you guys think about these. I don't know if I should take this off or not, if it makes a difference or not, if it's a good upgrade, not sure. I believe this is a 351M. Don't know, haven't got into it. Gonna have to clean it off to kind of find out what's going on. But there's the old one. And this is the reason we're replacing this. It's been cut. It's been welded on. There's patch welds in here. And the same with this. You can tell this has had, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's had a ton of welding done to it. You can see this piece was cut, welded in. It wasn't finished, but you can see. And there's a patch welded on the outside here. Here's what I was talking about. Here's another big plate that was welded on here. And then there's holes in it. And there they are. So that's pretty main structure right there. And you can see there's holes all the way through it. The shocks. This is very thin and yeah, crispy. other than that, the frame is okay. I just don't like the fact that it's been welded on and possibly hit, and I don't really know anything about this. So I don't know much about that one either, but as far as I know so far, I haven't got into it yet. This one should be in better shape. One thing I did notice is this truck is plain here, and then you'll see the difference. This one has these stabilizer bars on it. I don't know what that's about. Don't know much about it. Gonna have to do my research. But here's the condition of this frame. Not bad. It looks like it had a bunch of coating on it, and it did its job where it stayed stuck to it. As you can see, it's still black and shiny here, but the rest of it has a little bit of surface rust, which will be wear wheeled and ground off and all that good stuff. Then we'll probably POR 15 or something. I'm thinking what I might do is take this frame all the way down. What I'd like to do, and I'm looking for one, is put a tow hitch on here. This little tow ball on this bumper that I'm not going to use is not going to work. I don't know how much I'm going to be pulling, but I'd like to have the option to hook up a trailer or a boat or whatever I want in the future. Oof, I didn't notice that. That's not good. That's broke right off of there. This one that one's okay. Well, I'm gonna need a shock mount for that, so we'll get into that. We got a lot of work to do to strip this baby down. Gonna have to pull the engine, the trans, everything, all that bottom part of the floor pan and the firewall that's on there. That's still got to come off. But it's nice that even the rims on this thing are not bad. I mean, I love the rims that are on that frame. But these have black steel wheels on it. I don't know, I'm kind of liking them. We'll see where we go with that once we paint my truck the hot rod black and go from there. So that's it. This is the 1979 4x4 short box frame that I picked up from the East Coast. Once again, thank you to Bobby. Him and his crew helped load this thing up for me, and it went pretty smooth. I only had to tighten down the straps a few times on the way home, and it went good. Oh, here's the difference between the front of this and the front of the other one. Nice and clean, no chops or welds or anything like that. Nothing crazy. So, much better. If it's tweaked or whatever on the front, I might have to heat it up and bang it out a little bit, but at least I don't have to cut nothing off and weld it. Motor mounts look way better in this thing than they do on my original frame. And once again, please comment about these double shocks. I don't know what I'm going to end up doing with that. All right, I'm getting cold. Let's run inside. So this firewall piece for the steering shaft and all that on the firewall of a 73 to 79 Ford Densite is pretty much unobtainium. Here's my old one, rotted Swiss cheese. Here's a new one. The bottom of it's a little greasy, so I got the bottom of it sitting in the parts washer. Get some of that junk off of there. And I'm going to separate this piece from this sheet metal. Hopefully it doesn't end up as ugly as that one, trying to find all the spot welds, but now I have a better idea. Clean that up, get it welded onto the firewall, and go from there. When I went out to the East Coast, I talked to that Bobby guy. He's got a lot of Ford trucks. And he had a core support for me. So core support, check. Got it. In way better shape than the old one. That one's all crusty and got holes in it. And this one just needs to be cleaned up and painted. So I'll go through that process. Those look pretty much identical. That one has the latch and everything on it too, which I really don't need, but I got it. And also, bam! Bobby gave me this rear bumper. We did a trade. I had a eBay special black front bumper sent to me. Well, it didn't show up black, it showed up chrome. But Bobby needed it, and I brought it to him. So we swapped front bumper for rear bumper, and that is a black bumper. We'll take that out of the box shortly and check it out, see what kind of condition it's in. And he gave me this kit to help attach this bumper. I think I might be missing a piece though. I got one of these and two of these. I don't know if that's how they come, if it's 3 pieces or 4 pieces, I don't know. Let's take this out of the box and see what it looks like. I'll unwrap this in a second. I also got this dash with the frame. And it has this cool little, I don't know, map light, I guess. I don't know if that's a stock thing or a option or if it's rare or not. If you know, please comment, let me know. Also, if anybody's looking for a dash near Western New York, I'm your guy. Let's open this bumper and see what we got. It's got the diamond tread on the top. I believe this is where my brackets are going to line up that I got with it. This has the lights and the wiring that goes in here, a sticker, and a little catalog thing. So cool. Slowly but surely picking away at all the parts needed to rebuild this thing. We got this little piece here that was rusted on this one, like really bad. I just tossed it. I don't know if I ordered this or not, we'll see, but there's an extra one. Let me back my truck up here and we'll pull that seat out and put it in here so it can defrost. It actually stopped snowing for 5 seconds. Puppy is heavy. Okay, here is the seat. This is another thing I did not have that was OEM for this Ford truck, was these. The ones I have on my seat have a angled, probably a lot stronger, an angled bracket welded onto here. But it's another thing off the list that I wanted to have in case I needed it. Like I said, the seats in not too bad a shape except for the driver's side typical ripping. I kind of like that look, the black with the silverish gray in the middle. And I think I have a black cloth center vinyl outer, but it's all black. Coming up next, I think what I'm going to do is take that piece off the firewall and we're going to get it welded onto the front of this cab so I can get the cab basically where I want it. My plan is to finish the bodywork, welding, all that good stuff. Any parts it needs, cab mounts or whatever. Any metal that's gone or not acceptable, we're gonna get rid of it. And we're gonna weld in new stuff. It's off, might as well do it now. And from there, what I'd like to do is hopefully heat this place up to like 85 degrees in here and prime the cab. And then I gotta start working on the bed. There's a few spots in the corners that need to be replaced. I need to bang this corner out, get this all straightened up. I might have to cut this corner basically right off, fix everything, get it lined up so the tailgate closes nice and smooth. And then we will do the same with this. I will get it in primer. Once this stuff is in primer, it's gonna go off to the side. The frame comes in, it gets completely stripped, down to nothing. And then we're going to fix whatever needs to be fixed. Maybe put some reinforcements in there, here and there. Looking for a tow package, class 3 or class 4. I'm not sure what I need or what I should get. So we'll see. Once again, comment. Throw your comments in. I need help. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going with all this stuff, and I'm learning with some of it as I go. So body work, get all the stuff off the side, frame comes in, gets restored, and then once the weather starts getting better, we're going to start talking about painting and reassembly. And in between all that, working on one of these engines, either the 400 or the 351M. Here's where I'm at. The journey begins. That's it for this episode of Ford Dent Side Garage. Thanks for watching. See you next time.